I'm joined by, described as an inspirational speaker. He's a CEO. He does all sorts of things around the world. You've written books.
Oh, absolutely.
You're the man to go to get inspiration. Steve Cockram.
Never believe what you read on social media, Paul.
Well, that's why you wrote it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, welcome to the man. Literally, you've arrived, you've touched down.
Thank you.
You're in here now because you've got an event on. Let's come straight to that. What's going on today, which we're recording this on?
So Search and Select have been sponsoring an event called FutureWorks and bringing over, hopefully, different inspirational experts to speak on different topics. And I think you might have had a good friend of mine, Hayley Barnard, came over and spoke, I think, on diversity and inclusion.
Yeah.
I'm speaking on the future of leadership. So what does leadership look like in the new world as we move from late industrial to digital?
Well, as I said, the subtext is this digital world, isn't it, or something?
That's right.
The great craziness of where we're going.
So the reality is, every about 250 years in Western history, there's been a technological breakthrough which causes huge disruption in work. And when work changes, the skills of leadership change at the same time. And there's always a huge period of disorientation. So people either think it's great and they see an advantage, or they feel threatened because their historical way of life has changed. So, by way of example, the printing press in 1450, you may go, the Gutenberg printing press, but led to the Reformation because for the first time, technology was available that meant people could disseminate information in book form. And the people who controlled the power at the time tried to burn the books and the people who burnt them. So I guess Industrial Revolution, same thing, James Barr,
so you're saying basically
lives.
Disruptors. Everyone's got their life planned out and somebody comes along that knocks them for six.
So 1982, Tim Berners-Lee, who didn't get as much credit as I think he deserves, typed 3 letters and a dot for the first time and changed all our lives. So it takes usually a significant portion of time before it begins to hit the mainstream. Right. But we're now in that place where work is being changed at a profound level. It may not hit the Isle of Man immediately.
Hey, we're ahead of the curve, I tell you.
But maybe this is part of getting ahead of the curve. But what it is doing is, as people begin to ask the question, what does work look like in a world which is now...
You going to tell us?
I am going to tell you tonight. What do you want me to tell you now?
Well, we're going to have
a sneak
robots,
peek.
We're going to have AI. We're just going to be sitting around doing not a lot because, that's the worst scenario, right, Case?
I don't think that's actually true. I think one of the big differences is that the late industrial world was measured really, IQ was hugely important. So the ability to memorize information, to strategically analyze systems, processes, that probably was the primary currency of wealth in those days. And there were huge barriers to entrepreneurship because you needed large amounts of capital to build factories or offices or means of production. Well, the new world, anyone can set up in their own little home with, if you've got access to the internet and TV studios, you can be beaming to the world.
Ta-da! Ta-da. Yeah.
And effectively what it's doing is it's disrupting it because the barriers to entry, whether you're an Instagram influencer or building apps, the whole world has changed. And people are beginning to ask the questions, what does leadership look like? Because in the old days, you used to need my factory or my office, and you were lucky because if you were born in a particular area, you either went to the factory or you went to the office, and that was pretty much your lot, and you worked your way up through, and if you were lucky, you became a supervisor, manager. Well, in the new world, people don't work like that. Yeah. So all of a sudden, the world is a marketplace. It's more competitive than it's ever been, but I would argue that the most significant skill in the new world is relationship management. So for those who are able to, say, establish, maintain and develop long-term relationships, that is the primary currency of wealth and influence in the new world. So we've got a lot of old dogs trying to learn new tricks.
Because some people don't. And you see business models just decaying, they haven't caught the wave, and they die if they're not careful. So this is a question about, So the thing is always be open to ideas and get people like you in to tell us what we need.
Well, hopefully. I think what we try to do is, Jeremy and I, who started this business about 6 years ago, actually said, we've been doing consulting and development for a long time, but let's assume that the new world needs new tools. So we actually asked a lot of leaders, what are you really dealing with? What are the biggest challenges of the new world? We hone it down to 5 and spent the last 5 years trying to work out how do you retool leaders for a new world, because it's a mindset shift, but the way of thinking about developing people. So we would say that in the old world, you could hire intelligent individuals who nobody had to like, but if their IQ was good enough, you could bill them per hour, and that's how you did it.
Okay, fascinating. I wish I could talk for hours more, but we're recording this literally on the day you're here, as I said.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Is it sold out, or people can get you? Or
it's a very good question. I think it's sold out.
Sold out. Well, probably, but go online and check it out.
Yeah, but if you want to come and find me,
and Search and Select have more of these things coming on.
So, absolutely.
So fascinating, and we've got a future.
I hope so. Well, you have, absolutely. I've been on the Isle of Man all morning thinking about what would I do to prepare the Isle of Man for the future. So if the local politicians are listening, if you haven't got a 20-year plan which involves technology as a way of making your work secure for the future, they probably need it.